What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to the old lady's favorite YouTube channel. I'm Justin Sofro. With me today is my boy Julian Giannotti again. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. I just want to welcome everybody back into the Coach's Corner show, your show, of anything that we have going on here. It's his specialty. You know, you guys loved it when we did the Locatelli one, we did the Ital-Juve one, and now we're doing Moise Kean. We're excited to see what the young striker brings to Juventus, back to Juventus, if I will. Stick with us, and we will fill you in now. Ciao ragazzi, as we said, we're back into the Coach's Corner, and we're going to let you know what's going on with Moise Kean, what we can expect from him, from the player as he comes back to Juventus, especially filling a pretty big gap that was vacated as of recently by a big star player. No names will be mentioned, so I'm not getting myself in any more trouble, but what we will talk about is the new player that we have coming in, new but old at the same time. If you know him, you probably love him. I personally love the player. I was disappointed to see him leave when Maurizio Sarri came in, and either, I don't know if it was his decision to push him out, they needed to make money. I think there were a few aspects that went into it. The reason why he left, had a solid season, his last season that he was here with Juventus, but definitely saw him grow and improve while he was gone, and it's kind of fantastic that he's coming back. What are your thoughts so far? Just kind of introing us into Moise Kean, the player that he was at Juventus before, and who he's becoming now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. You hit the main thing on the head. He's grown and he's matured. From what he was to what he is now, he's grown in leaps and bounds. We saw him at an early age. I think he was 18 in 2008, the 2018-2019 season. After his loan spell at Verona, he came back to Juventus and he scored six league goals in 13 league games. And that return for a 19-year-old striker, it's really good, to be honest. Like, it's a very good return. We were doing the Kyle George Coach's Corner, and his numbers don't look as good, and he played in the Brazilian Serie A. So we instantly see that Moise Kean is on a different level. After he left for definitely plusvalenza reasons. He left for money for the club to make. It was 27.5 million euros. We sold him to Everton. He had a very poor season in England. And at Everton, he scored 2 goals in 29 games, I think, in the Premier League. It's not good. Not a very down for development year. And then he took a chance. Mino Raiola gave him a chance to go to PSG. He took that step and he grew with it. He scored 17 goals in Ligue 1 with good players on a good team, and he was shown to be versatile. He was very versatile. He played up front. He played on the wings. He even played in the midfield, like a left and right midfield role, which was very nice to see. So you've seen constant. Like, he had the one downturn at Everton, but then again he went to PSG, improved. He was really impressing at the national team. When he was from PSG, like when he was with PSG, and then he went to the national team, got call-ups. He performed really well. I think it was very political that he didn't make the final national team roster for the Euro Cup. It's a shame he missed out, but it is what it is. He had that one disciplinary action. Him and Zaniolo both were in Mancini's bad books for a bit, and he missed out. Or else he would definitely be at least the second best striker on the team. So I'm excited for this. You see it right there on the graphic. He's got the skills. He's young. He's Italian, and he's way more improved than when he was here the first time, and that's exciting.
Well, that's one thing I can kind of say I want to ask about or talk about a little bit. Actually, here locally, I have a friend who is an Everton fan, and I was pushing him and prodding. Yeah, right. Yeah, he trusts me. He. I think he's literally. We joke that he's a cancer, and like literally every time, not really cancer, but like every team he goes to, a jinx, whatever you want to call it. Every team he goes to starts losing, and it's just every single time. Like, I think literally, and again, local thing. He started being a UVL fan here locally. Right when he came, he was a fan of another team, and then they had the bad turn. So hopefully he's out of here now, and hopefully he's moved on. But we're talking about Moise Kean, his situation. He was. We were talking about him and about Everton. I used to prod him all the time, being like, "Man, you got my guy. I want him back. Bring him back to Juve. Sell him back to us, whatever."
Yeah.
And then the whole thing with PSG going on, and literally, I mean, he used to go on a little bit like he liked Moise Kean a lot. He thought he brought a lot to the team. He said that he felt like he was a bit misutilized at Everton.
Oh, yeah.
I got to be honest, I didn't watch a lot of Everton, so I can't really, for my personal sake, say that that's true or not. But I mean, I took it from him. He's an Everton fan. I would believe him, especially when you see what he did when he was loaned out to PSG. And literally with every single goal that he scored, it was like right in my heart. Every single time being upset because we don't need to go into the PSG thing. Verratti, PSG down Donnarumma with him, and then all that stuff that's been going on. So happy, kind of a little bit of to me, I'm excited. I'm excited at what he brings back. I'm excited to see him, actually a youth product of Juventus, to come back and actually be something going forward. I know that's a lot of people. And I know it's a little conflicting in the comment section. I've seen people positive, I've seen people a lot negative, being like, we don't need this kid, he's trash, whatever. And I'm like, no, guys. Like, to me, I think he could be a solid striker going forward for the club. Anyway, just wanted to get a little bit of hype out of the way. You did mention also today, before we actually get into the nitty-gritty details about it, you mentioned about Nicolo Zaniolo, him and Kean being on, maybe Mancini's bad list, maybe a little bit of a... conflict of interest, maybe a bit of immaturity from the players with Mancini. Mancini obviously knows what he's doing. If he wants the Euros, you very much know that. But it was unfortunate. I think there were some opportunities where I felt like Moise Kean could have been used. When you look at what Ciro Immobile was doing, and I'm actually I'm not an Immobile hater. I actually you see him when he does in Serie A for Lazio. He's good when he's there. When he gets to the European stage, not so much. But I mean, I think he's a decent player. I like him more than most people like him. I'm in the minority. I know that. But at the same time, I feel like Moise Kean definitely could have come in and maybe helped out a little bit where he was struggling. It worked out either way for us. Is one thing I'll say. But one thing I did notice is, of course, Zaniolo had a post today. They were training, with the Italian team, and him and Moise Kean together. Would not hate, I'll throw that out there, and then we'll leave it, that I would not hate to see him, Juventus fan, growing up, come to Juve. Don't think it's ever going to happen.
Come over.
Oh, I would love it. That kid's an absolute monster, and have him on. Talk about a boost for the midfield, or anything that you need. Anyway, you want to any other thoughts that you want to have before we really jump into the statistical analysis of Moise Kean and what he brings to the club?
No, I know there's a lot of fans that are gonna have like that. Oh, he's not good off the field stuff and all that noise. Listen, when he was at Juventus, the only thing that ever popped up was what happened at Cagliari that one game, and the racism and the fans, and Bonucci didn't stand up for him. Mm-hmm. But that was ludicrous in its own right from Bonucci. He's never been a sour apple on the first team stage for Juventus, so I don't see that happening again. His mom's even come out and said like he's matured as a boy and he became a man when he was at the club. So I wouldn't worry about anything like that. Just let's worry if he can understand what Allegri wants tactically, and I think he will, because he succeeded the first time. So
I mean, and that's also one of those things of like, I don't know, what am I gonna say? Maybe he should have controlled himself a little bit, but at the same time, like, can you blame the kid? Like, when you're experiencing that, I personally don't know what that's like to feel like that. Obviously, white guy, whatever, I don't know what it's like, but I do. One thing I do know, as harsh as things are in America here, things in Europe, or even I'd say, I don't know if this is fair to say, are a little more behind than even like in the Americas when it comes to some racism being more socially accepted. And that's one of those things it's an ugly truth, and it is like one of those facts that, I mean, when I say ugly truth, it's whatever I think. I may be wrong. Let me know if I am incorrect, because I don't live there, but it's just you hear about it more often. You hear it with Balotelli, you hear it with Moise Kean again. Yep. Balotelli, though, also is a strong personality. He is a guy who maybe will not drive people to be. You don't drive anybody to be racist. People are racist on their own. But what I'm saying is he is maybe drive people to maybe be jeer a little more at him than the average guy. And I also don't think that some of the comparisons out there, not that there's a ton of them, but the obvious elephant in the room I've heard people compare him to Balotelli personality and all that, and it's not the same at all. It is not.
No.
It's not. It's not even the same. It's not fair to him. I think it's just kind of some of it's stupidity because the elephant in the room, he's black. You know what I mean? Just because that does not mean you're the same player. And I just want to move on from that. I think he can become a serious key piece for Juventus moving forward. And I would love that 100%. More than anything, just to see a Juventus product actually stick going in the future.
Yep. Last one was Marquisio, right?
Yeah. So it's been a little bit. It's definitely been a bit. And I know people keep pushing. They keep throwing, darts at the wall, hoping it's going to happen. Fajoli, Ranocchio, whoever, they just keep throwing those darts. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Maybe one of them will stick in the future, but at least we got a guy that you should be able to get behind, I would hope, if you're Juventus 100%. Are you ready to move on into the next portion of our... Otherwise, I know this will be like a 45-hour video if I keep talking. Right? All right, let's move into that. Here we go with the shooting efficiency. I think you have a data chart. Explain this to me and why you brought this up here.
Yeah, so this just depicts his efficiency at shooting. It's literally in the title. This is from footballreference.com. We see all these strikers. This is from the 2021 season, this past season. But for whatever reason, these people wanted to include Anthony Martial's 1920 season. I don't know. But if we can see that, we see all these names. We see top strikers: Cavani, Aguero, Haaland, Ronaldo, Lautaro Martinez, and just under the top guy, which is Kean, we see. I think that's Luka Jovic. Yeah, it's Luka Jovic of. I forget who we played for last year. It doesn't matter. But you see Moise Kean. So you see at the bottom their shots on target per game. So he's just averaging over a shot per game on target. And goals, you see he's almost averaging 0.7. So he's almost scoring a goal per shot per game. If that makes sense to you?
Yeah.
That's really, really efficient. It's like... So you see on the other scale, you see Ronaldo taking almost 2 shots on target per game, and he's scoring at a lesser rate. So you know how many goals Ronaldo scores, and Haaland again, he gets a lot of shots on target, less goals per shot on target though. So Kean is very efficient, and he's good at placing the ball in the net. Sometimes he overpowers the goalkeeper with a shot, but sometimes, and we'll see in the graphics that are coming, that he'll just place the ball in the corner, spin. He knows what the goal is, and he'll find the back of the net. And at this point in time, Juventus desperately needs that kind of guy, because we know Morata, you don't know where he's shooting. You don't know if he's going to score. And then the ball is not that true all-out goal scorer. And obviously, we have no idea what Kyle George is. So it's good to have a guy that has this ability, this shooting efficiency, and hopefully it will continue on when he comes.
Yeah, no, you definitely need a proven guy, especially given the vacancy that we just had to come in. And I mean, we saw that in the Empoli match where, I mean, that is not the reason Juventus lost by far. There's a lot going. It was a full team effort to lose that game. Is the only way I can put it. The midfield did a little bit more than everybody else to lose it. But definitely, you'd like to see, and that's why another opportunity why I'd like to see, and maybe it is a bit me being an Italian show, but would love to see, especially once he gets acclimated, once he gets back, starting maybe a Locatelli, a Chiesa, and a Kean together alongside Dybala and whatever have you there. But yeah, no, I like this chart. It really shows me. I never would have ever realized how efficient he was with a ball then, especially compared to the big names that you have in the game. So something to be excited about for sure. You ready to move on to the first picture that we have over here? All right, let me pull it up.
So this is a dual clip. So we're gonna show you the end result after this. So we see that Moise Kean picks up the ball top of the 18-yard box, and he's taking on a guy 1v1. It's kind of on the edge of the area and more to the outside of the box, to the right there. But he has the ability to take his guy on. He does a couple step overs here, beats his man, and he has the ability, like I said, he can overpower a goalie sometimes. He can smash it by him, or he can place the ball in a corner. In this instance, he's smashing the ball past the goalie. So he does his little skill moves, step overs. He beats his man. If we go to the next clip, you see how he's in a spot now where he's 1-on-1 with the goalie, and he smashes the ball past him, and he scores a goal here. I believe that's Montpellier that they're playing against. Again, I'm not that great with jerseys, but yeah. So that's one part of his skill set that he has, and it is being a skillful dribbler. He's able to beat his man. If he gets into that spot, if he picks up his head, he can also cut it back to the guy who's near the penalty dot. He has options, but the first job he has is to beat his man, and we know Juan Cuadrado is known for that. And this is just another guy who has the ability to get past his man.
Absolutely. The more lethal options we have, the better, especially going forward.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What would you say? What's his best position starting out? Like where do you put him? Where's the best spot for him on the field? Or do we need to get through these before we get there?
That's the $1 million question though, because at PSG he found a lot of success playing on the right wing sometimes. He did find success down the middle. He was versatile last year. For us, I believe he'll be used as a striker. I can't see Allegri asking him to be that guy to help out defensively, even though he did help last year with PSG. But I don't see Max Allegri asking Kean to do exactly what he wants. So I can see Kean being more of the focal point. And again, a guy like Morata, he does everything off the ball very well, but that killer instinct in front of goal, Kean's got a better instinct than Morata at this point. And that's good, I guess. But it's not saying much at the same time because it's Morata. But we need someone like that in front of goal. So I think Allegri's going to use him up there for sure.
Yeah, not to go on
main guy.
I would like to see him be utilized that way. I would say not to go on a Morata tangent, but definitely he showed like shots of that instinct at the beginning of last season. And then it totally dissipated. It just went away by the end. All that confidence, all the a bit more of the I don't know if I would call it aggression, but you know what I mean. Like actually attacking, it definitely decreased over that time. So I'd like to see somebody with maybe more youthful energy, hopefully bring that kind of passion. Let's move on to the next one we have here.
So this is just a single clip. So just before the ball was rolled into him, his back was to goal, and this guy behind him, this gentleman with the hair, so Moise Kean just spun with his on his left shoulder. He spun around and collected the ball. Didn't touch the ball, just let the ball roll, and he found the bottom, I guess bottom right corner, goalie's left. He just found the bottom corner there. He just rolled it into the net, and that's what I was talking. And that's what I brought up the first graphic for the shooting efficiency. He didn't even know where the net was originally. He turned, he spun his defender, he rolled his defender, and then he just picked his head up, looked where the target was, looked where the ball was, found the bottom corner, and that it just shows to me that he knows where the net is and he's an efficient goal scorer.
Yeah, and like you said, he's also with from whatever distance, he's able to put that much force on it to really overpower the goalkeeper even in those situations. So I'd be excited to see that come back to Juventus a little bit more teeth to the attack. Here we go is another one that we have over here.
Yeah, this is a two-parter again. So now we see Kean playing centrally as the main focal point, and he's running across the defender's inside shoulder. He's making a run behind these. So the two defenders closest to the ball, Moise Kean's making a run directly in behind them so he can get a pass through, and he's running through the inside shoulder of the guy to his left, meaning that he has the angle and the space to go collect the ball. If we continue.
Okay.
Yeah. So he obviously I didn't take a good screenshot, but he did end up collecting the ball, and then he ended up shooting and scoring again. Imagine that efficiency. But he created enough space with his run and his intelligent run, because not everyone makes runs across the defender's shoulder. Some people just wait for the back post run for a cross. But he realized the situation. He ran into the space across the guy's shoulder. A nice ball was played, obviously, for him. A good service ball. So we need that. Hopefully Locatelli can provide that. But, and then he found the target, and he overpowered the goalie again. Because that angle the goalie has right now on him, he's covering most of the net. So Kean's smashing the ball at this point. You can even see the way he's landing in his plant foot. and a shooting foot. He's using a lot of force behind the ball, and that's good. So a lot of guys are trying to place the ball from there, but he recognizes the situation.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the next one that we have here for you guys.
Yeah. So again, it's another intelligent run. This is a center forward type of run. You probably learned this from Ronaldo, because Ronaldo is one of the best players, actually probably the best player in the world, making runs into the box. He's always hungry to get to the ball. He always gets to the spot where he needs to, and Kean definitely picked up on this when he was here the first year, because he's going in behind the furthest center back. He's going in behind his back so he can't see him, and then he's making a dart to the front post, and that's where the ball is going to be ending up. So if we click next, he ends up there, meets the ball first. Obviously, it's not a great picture, but he did end up heading the ball first, and you can see the ball right there. He ended up hitting the crossbar here, so his shooting efficiency went down. Oh well, he's allowed to miss sometimes. But go ahead, Justin.
No, I was going to say the one thing we can really take away from this is that, like, you're really not missing anything at all. You replaced the guy with the guy who's equally as good as Cristiano Ronaldo. Juventus has nothing to worry about in this situation. Definitely at least got the second best player in the world now. So we're good to go.
Yeah, for sure. So this also proves he's an aerial threat as well, because you see two guys there, two defenders, and he won the header. So, again... Yeah. He's a big boy now. He's grown into his body. He's a physical specimen. He's strong. He's good in the air. He's got a powerful shot. He's very efficient in shooting. There's lots to like about this, especially because the deal was we got him back on a 2-year. Reports are, nothing's official yet, but reports are we're getting him on a 2-year deal, correct? Dry loan, and then we're paying $20 million as an obligation.
Yes,
I believe.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
That's an incredible deal. Absolutely. If that is the exact operation, that is an incredible deal. $7.5 million or €1 million difference to what we sold him originally for, and he's gotten better. So that's incredible.
There was some English reporter, something I saw today, that said something with the figure of like $35 million. I don't know. Until it's final, nobody really knows. But the numbers that have been thrown out there have been better than we have ever expected. Especially because I remember we talked about it last year. There were rumors floated out about Kean, and they were asking a lot more than they were at this point. When now they're not giving back to PSG. They don't have a lot of options. He doesn't fit what they're doing at Everton right now. So Juventus worked out better. It appears Juventus could. I don't know if you really say making money off it, but for the most part, coming off better than they sold him for. So getting a better player back, you know what I mean?
They actually won a deal. This is what it reminds me of. If the €20 million figure is the correct figure, then they made out like bandits. Like I said, Moise Kean's definitely improved. He's improving on the international stage as well. I remember. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember this, because I remember stupid shit in games. But there was one time in like a Serie A game, the ball was switched from one side to the other, and he did a Neymar touch where the ball was coming over, and he used the back. He put his leg behind his planting leg, and he touched the ball, and he kept juggling it. And I was like, dude, you're 18 years old and you're doing this. I love you. Yeah. You just have the swagger, the charisma to do this stuff. You're so young and you're so good. Just let's get your head straight. And I know that was the criticism at the time, but I think he's going to have his head straight, and I think he'll be a good performer. If he plays an essential striker role as the main focal point, I think he'll score 15 to 20 goals this year, no problem.
Yeah, it's one of those things too when they talk about kids having their head straight or whatever have you. Yeah. It's hard to say. What do you expect from these young ages of kids coming in here? They're being told they're the greatest. Everybody who comes in, literally, I would say most people that come in and play professionally at this point, at this level, they all think that they're as good as Messi or Ronaldo. They all think that. They all expect that, or they think that they can get there. So I expect him to have that, especially at a young age that he was at and still is at. There's going to be immaturity issues. That's part of the, like I said, here in the United States, they go through college and all that stuff, kind of similar with the youth leagues and all that stuff, but the youth leagues start way earlier than the college and all that. So you usually have a couple of years to mature and grow, and you're doing this while being a professional. So I don't know. Some of that I let go a little bit just because I expect some immaturity, and like you're a player at this level. And heck, I would say even most of the players, I would say in okay, when I say this, take it with the giant grain of salt, because I also see like yes, there's Pogba driving around in his whatever he had. I don't know if it was a Lamborghini. No, it was some ridiculous car, and stuff like that. But like, there's a little bit more like maybe it's just I see it locally, but I feel like there's way more like people are full of themselves and flashiness and like almost American sports than I do really in European football. I feel like it's a little bit. There's some that are, but maybe it's just they don't let their persona shine that much. There's a lot more that seem more down to earth than anything, so maybe that's why they expect more. I don't know. But anyway, my main point, the reason that maybe I said a lot of nothing, but what I really meant though overall was I expect him to have some of that when he's a young kid. I think he can definitely grow. Heck, this kid was born in 2000. Whenever I see somebody who's born in 2000. Like it blows my mind. Yeah. I was born in 90. I was like, no, I'm still young. I was like, no, there's no way this kid's a baby. There's no way he's playing professional. Anyway, so that's basically what I was getting at with that. But do you want to move on to the next one? Should I bring that one up?
Yeah. Is there more?
Okay. Yeah. There's
that's right. The hold-up play. That's right.
And there's two.
That's the biggest thing. yeah. So this is a two-parter.
Professionalism here. There's more.
Yeah. So we see him in their own half, PSG's own half. He's shielding the ball right now. It's being thrown into him. He's obviously the guy in the darker jersey. Mm-hmm. So he's pinned up there. He's strong enough. Like we mentioned before, he's a strong boy, very mature physically now. He holds the ball up well. He's able to. He has the ability to roll him and turn him and look at the space in front of him now. And you know he's going to go for it because he's that kind of player. He can take the space and the ground will be eaten up really quick.
Right.
He's fast. He's good. He's strong. He's straight. He dribbles in straight lines. And again, I'm really excited that he's coming back because now we actually have a skillful center forward who has the ability to strike the ball in the net at a good clip, and he's Ital-Juve now. We're starting to build it.
That's what I'm saying.
Our two main signings this summer: Locatelli and Kean.
Mm-hmm. It seems
both
like
under 23.
It feels like somebody's personally catering to me. Getting Chiesa last year, getting Locatelli, getting Kean back. I know there's some people that are be complaining because they want something bigger. They want Pogba when it's not going to happen this year kind of thing. We'll see about next year. Just stuff like that. But anyway, I'm at least excited about that. We can be happy at least with some of the players that we're getting in. There's one last one that I think, that might have been it. Yeah, that was it. Let me go ahead and, I got me on that one. Well, it's the way I'm going down about it. I thought that was the last one. I was like, oh, no, it's not. Anyway, I appreciate. Thank you for this rundown. Now, before we wrap this up, I did want to kind of ask you. So, what do you think when it comes to Moise Kean coming into Juventus and playing this year? First, of course, I always say that players got to acclimate into the system, got to work on his chemistry with other players so he gets to know each other on the field. Obviously, what do you think? What's your barometer for a successful season? What do you expect to see from Moise Kean this season? I mean, in the here and now when he first joins, or to the end of the season? Does that make sense? What you expect him to accomplish?
Progressively what happens. So I expect him to place. Firstly, I expect him to play some minutes with Italy. I fully expect him to get some minutes under his belt. I'm going to assume Allegri's going to do his stupid, he hasn't had practice time and he's not fit enough to play yet and start. So I assume that's going to happen. So don't expect him for Napoli. Don't expect 90 minutes against Napoli. Maybe he gets in 10, 15 minutes against Napoli. Then he might start the Champions League game against Malmö. And again, he'll have 15 minutes against Milan because Allegri might trust Morata more. So maybe you get acclimated that way a bit because that's a tough stretch right away.
Yeah.
And specifically because the South Americans won't probably play much as well.
Yeah.
So you'll see a good chunk of Kean at the beginning of the year, but I think the more and more the season progresses, you'll see him start more games. You'll see him start scoring goals. Like I said, I expect 15 goals. I know that's a lot, but he scored 17 last year. He's coming back to a coach that he knows, that trusts him fully, because Allegri was playing this guy who was 19 at the time in big league games, and he was producing at that point. 6 goals in 13 games again. Remember that.
Yeah.
That's a very good return for a striker that young, especially in Serie A. So I do expect 15 goals at least, and I expect him to play well. Like I expect a lot, way more than Kyle George. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think you said basically he is Kyle. What we know of Kyle George, like dialed up for the most part. Like I mean, he's a better player. At least at this point, we'll see what becomes of Kyle George. I just don't expect a lot from him right now. Oh, and Moise Kean, I guess the one thing I would say is too. Is maybe right now with the situation he's being brought in for, is he's not really coming in to be like a real, when I say a real backup, like he's not really that far down the list like he may have been at other places or when he was here the first time. There's a big hole to fill, and he's got to be one of the players that fills it for, decently, I would imagine. I wonder if maybe early on, say in the Napoli match, say there's a scoring drought. Say that you go the first half without scoring and doesn't look like a lot's really clicking. If maybe at halftime or something like that, he might throw him out there because he has experience with Moise Kean. Maybe not. I just wonder if that might be something. But like you said, I know Allegri likes to not do that.
Yeah, he likes to ease people in. Yeah, Allegri likes to ease a lot of people in.
And that's fair. I mean, you bring him in to do his game, but
yeah. The thing with Kean is, he'll frustrate you at times too, though. Like we should know this. I'm going to point this out. He will frustrate you at times. Sometimes he won't look engaged in the game. That's just because the type of game might not suit him, right? If it's physical up and down, it suits him. If it's nice technical stuff, like playing 1-2s around the edge of the area, it's like, ooh, can you do that? I don't know. He's still not shown that ability yet, but he does like to dribble. He does like to score. I think what Allegri said, we want to play vertical this year, like fast vertical play. I think that will suit him. He's a big, strong boy, like we've countlessly said numerous times today. So I know he's got big shoes to fill. Ronaldo scored 30 goals last year, 36, whatever. If he can score 15, if Morata can score 15, if Dybala can score 15, and if Chiesa can score 15, which is all doable, by the way, very easily, we'll be fine.
Absolutely. I would say you brought up the point. That's something I did want to bring up at the end, though, but I'm glad you kind of did already, was basically that, with the European break, everybody who's watching this should tune in and make sure you watch those Italy matches. I'm sure he's going to get some run and get some playing time because the level of the competition is lower than what we're expecting. It's not the Euros are over. They're not going to play the top tier guys as much. I would expect. You never know, but I would expect him to get some run and hopefully just to see his level of fitness, how he is out there. Maybe he can score some goals. I'd be excited. It's a little bit of an appetizer going into back into Serie A play. Hopefully. Like I said, my hope is that it'll be a nice little injection of scoring because Juventus needs it after the last thing. Of course, that is not always the way that Allegri plays, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how it develops throughout the season. I appreciate. Thank you for your time today for breaking this down for us. I always enjoy doing these coaches' corners and find out more about these players, stuff that I just watch it would not really understand or pick out as easily. So I appreciate that. Any other final thoughts that you really want to give about Moise Kean before we wrap it up here and say adieu to our friends?
Nothing too crazy. Just don't harass him right away if he doesn't score in these first couple of games. Just let him mature, let him fester into the squad, let him get more acclimated. The same goes for everything. I said that about George. I said that about Locatelli. Just don't get on his back if he doesn't score in the first 4 games. Just let him ride it out.
Yeah. Well, you heard it here. If he does not score in the first 4 games, we want his head and we want him the heck out of here. Anyway, I appreciate it. Hopefully, hopefully he'll acclimate pretty soon, and hopefully we'll see at least flashes. I mean, I'd hope more than flashes because I expect more, but flashes of what I saw at PSG that made me envious over the last year or so for the player that we lost. Anyway, excited to have him back here. Hopefully it looks good for the future going forward. Hope you all enjoyed this, and thank you again, Julian, for breaking this down for us. Anyway, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button if you're new here, especially if you're new here to the channel. Also hit that bell icon to stay notified about all of our latest videos. Follow Bianconeri Zone at Bianconeri Zone on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me at Justin Sofer on Twitter, and follow our boy Julian Giannotti at Giannotti151 on Twitter as well. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.